Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very cold edition of Todd Talks. When Todd talks, people listen. Hopefully. I mean, I guess if I'm frozen solid, you can't really listen to me because I'll be like, okay. So, despite me being cold, it is actually like snowing and icing out here in Illinois. So, I hope you're all staying warm and safe on this weird weather we're getting. It is time to dethaw and talk about the upcoming season finale, season 3 finale of Death Battle. And I thought it'd be important to start off by saying I'm kind of in agreement with everyone in regards to the matchup of Deadpool versus Pinkie Pie, in that this is a very curious way to end the season. Now, if you haven't watched the last 2 or 3 Death Battle casts, watch it because they explain in great detail they uh, why they do this matchup. Long story short, it's because of us. The fans have apparently requested this matchup for some time. I don't know how this got into their heads. I guess I know how. The fourth wall breaking and everything, but you have to wonder just exactly what was going on, and they said to make them suggest this. But again, as they noted, they've done joke battles before. I mean, they did, Chuck Norris versus Stick at Sanshiro, and included all the Chuck Norris jokes into it. They done, Bieber versus Black, not this Black, Jessica Black. Even Hercule Satan versus Dan Hibiki, Battle of the Losers. These are all joke battles. Now, I will acknowledge, I think that they should have switched this battle, which will be 3D, no doubt, with Hulk Doomsday, because that could have been this epic Titanic finish that I know people would have been really happy with as a season finale. All the while, they're still getting, Deadpool versus Pinkie Pie. So there you go. Now, I did my due diligence, and I mean, I am actually quite proud of the research I did for this death battle. I mean, I actually went above and beyond, I feel, this time. Because this, at first, seems insane. I mean, this is Deadpool, the Merc with the mouth. I mean, even if you just watched his battle versus Deathstroke, he is very, very powerful. And how is a pony supposed to what's the pony supposed to do against him? But if you pay attention, as I know the Death Battle crew did, you'll realize that this isn't as insane of a matchup as you might think. Okay, yes, it is. It's a totally insane matchup, but like stats wise, it's not as uneven as you might think, or maybe it is, but not in the way you think. Just a quick rundown of Deadpool. I mean, if you haven't watched Deadpool versus Deathstroke, they do a fantastic breakdown. And I know this was years ago, technically, and Deadpool has evolved technically since then. And they likely will find something that they'll use in this, like how he's been an Avenger. He's gotten married. Yeah, don't get me started on that one. Um, but I would say generally, a lot of his stats from the Deathstroke battle still apply. So that of course leads me to what are the big factors here. One is his regenerative ability. He heals so dang fast. I mean, it's not even funny, how fast Deadpool heals. I mean, even if you just like look at the Deathstroke battle, he chops his own limbs off and he reattaches them. And that's technically how it happens in the comic. The movie actually downplayed his healing ability because that hand that he lost, I'm sorry, that he intentionally cut off to give the bird to Colossus, should have actually healed a lot faster than it did if they went by pure comic uh, lore, I guess I should say, or how it happened in the comic. So he actually, he's got that. But then of course he's a master assassin, can pull weapons out of everywhere. Uh, enhanced strength, reflexes. He can't be predicted because of his fighting style. He's just an incredibly gifted warrior, and then you add his insanity complex, and he's like darn near close to unbeatable, darn near close. Um, Now, Pinkie Pie. Okay, when I did the research here, I mean, I started off with just basic Google searches. I did like the Pinkie Pie wiki page, which was actually not very helpful. And then I found these YouTube videos were counting down like the greatest Pinkie Pie moments in the history of My Little Pony Gen 3. And I was like blown away. I mean, I think I came dangerously close to becoming a brony. And I mean, I know I had like the Rainbow Dash thing, but that was honestly just because of Death Battle. But I mean, like this brought me to the edge. Brought me to the edge, ladies and gentlemen, of being a brony. And it could still happen. This Death Battle could push me over just like it did with Ruby, which I love. And you never know. But just seeing the things that Pinkie Pie does is absolutely insane. I actually made a list and I actually put it on my phone because I can't do 2 pages at once on my screen. So allow me to break down what I feel are the 8 most important factors here. Number 1, items stashed everywhere. Um, Deadpool has what they refer to as the magic satchel, which is he can reach behind his back and pull out a gun or a bazooka or grenades, whatever he wants. And we saw this in the Deathstroke death battle. Pinkie Pie kind of does the same thing. Now, however, it's clearly explained how she does this. She actually hides these spheres and items all over Ponyville. And not even just Ponyville, but just everywhere. I mean, she does this because, in her own words, I want to be prepared for anything. I mean, she has eye patches, she has, like, baking soda. There's a whole episode about baking soda and Pinkie Pie. Who knew? And she'll reach out and then she'll grab it, and then it's exactly what she needs because she knows where everything is. Now, the problem here is that will this reflect in this death battle? I'm not sure because if it's not in Ponyville, technically Pinkie Pie wouldn't have it there. Like so if she went to like New York just randomly, like, dimensional portal opened up, she walks through. I don't know how they're gonna do it in the death battle, but you know, she won't have any items there because it's not her dimension. So this is complicated now. But if you recall though, in Ratchet and Clank versus Jak and Daxter, they fought on Jak and Daxter's planet so that they could show the power of Eco. As they saw when Ratchet accidentally killed that bird and Jak absorbed the green Eco. So I have a feeling this probably might take place in Ponyville, if for no other reason is to drive Deadpool even more bonkers, which means that she'll have her entire arsenal uh, at her disposal, which includes, party cannons and megaphones, which I'll get to in a second. I got a big one about that. So it's really that she has her own magic satchel, except these are magic spheres. So who knows what they're gonna pull out. Number 2. Oh, this is a big one. This is easily one of the biggest things. In the previous death battle that I reference often, Rainbow Dash, my pony, uh, Rainbow Dash fought Starscream, who is a freaking fighter jet. And they noted that Rainbow Dash is actually faster than Starscream by a good margin. Her top speed regularly is around 3,800 miles per hour. Then when she does the Sonic Rainboom, going past Mach 5, she basically goes up to 76,000 miles per hour. I actually rechecked the death battle just so I'm pretty sure I got those stats right. But, she's insanely fast. Pinkie Pie can keep up with her. Now, originally, this was believed to be just a sleight of hand because they have what they call the Pepe Le Pew joke, which is, I'll use Shreefy as a reference here. Like you're running away from Shreefy, and then he'll go off screen, and then he'll pop in right over here where you're trying to run. And Pinkie Pie did this for quite some time, and with both Rainbow Dash and various other characters. And then one episode, they actually show Rainbow Dash fleeing from Pinkie Pie, like desperately trying to get away from Pinkie Pie. And then right behind her, trotting along, not flying, trotting along, is Pinkie Pie trying to catch up to Rainbow Dash. So what does this mean? This means that she, at minimum, is 3,800 miles per hour fast. Now, for all of Deadpool's feats, he is not a speedster. He has fast reaction times. He can, get dodge very, very well, but he is not, I would say, arguably, he is only as fast as the fastest human. So maybe Usain Bolt or, maybe a little faster than that, because he does run and he doesn't get tired or whatever. Maybe he doesn't get tired. I can't recall. But he's not a speedster. He cannot run as fast as Quicksilver or any of these other, or Speed Demon even, who was like 150 miles per hour. Deadpool can't do that. So if Pinkie Pie is at minimum 3,800 miles per hour, she is pretty much infinitely faster than Deadpool, which I think is going to be a very huge factor. And for the record, it's not documented how fast she is. Like, it's not like Rainbow Dash where she, the guy calculated the power of the sonic rainbow and everything. It's not specified because she hasn't really shown her potential. But if she keeps up with Rainbow Dash, who is documented as one of, if not the fastest pony in My Little Pony Gen 3, yeah, Deadpool's gonna have a problem. Okay, here's a funny one. In an episode where Pinkie Pie wants to, please everyone, she finds out that she can clone herself, essentially. She can make copies of herself. Now, this happens because of a magic pool, and I suppose and it can happen in another way, and as I'll explain in a second. Um, but she made copies of herself, and those copies were individual entities, perfect replicas of herself. It wasn't like, a lesser version, and then Pinkie Pie loses something. No, it's perfect copies of herself. And there have been at minimum 13 copies of Pinkie Pie at once. And I saw another scene where there was like more like 30, which is horrifying when you think about it. But yeah, so imagine Deadpool trying to maim uh 13 Pinkie Pies who can go 3,800 miles per hour. Just try and picture that for a second. Okay, that's 5 seconds. Okay, that's pretty close. So yeah, and now somebody said, but wait a minute, what about the magic pool thing? Okay, that's true, but then there was another scene where she was counting. She got like 19 friends in one episode, um, and she held up her arms, and out of every corner of the screen, two other arms joined her so that she could form 19 arms. And it's not stated how that happened, which implies that technically she can make copies of herself on her own without the magic pool. Suck on that, Deadpool. All right. Okay, this is another big one and adds to her like craziness. She could break the laws of physics. And I don't just mean like fourth wall breaking, which is another thing entirely. I mean like she literally breaks the laws of physics at her whim. And it's honestly one of her things. Like the three I documented was she actually lowered her descent into a pool of water, like she was going terminal velocity, and then just like beep, and lowered herself gently into the water. And then she tried to explain to Rainbow Dash. It didn't really work out. Another one, she slid up a slide with no momentum. Like she plopped herself up, went right up the slide. And even the ponies were like, what? She can pull a tails, like tails per hour, Sonic, and spin her tail to let her hover in the air. She doesn't fly, at least not that I've seen. She could. I did not watch all 5 seasons. I'm just saying. I didn't watch one season. I watched a couple of videos. But she can, hover in the air like tails. She can inflate her head like Kirby and just float in the air. She has multiple times, as we saw in the preview battle, stretched her body like a cartoon. Haha. And like gone off screen, grabbed something, like looked up at someone who was much taller than her. And in one case, she was actually held by her tail and she walked on air, just straight up, walked on an invisible floor through the air. And that's only happened for a few seconds. It's not determined how long she can do this, but that's pretty yeah, yeah. And let's see, next one is okay, I couldn't believe this one. Whew, this is something special. During an episode, Rainbow Dash was going off to Wonderful Academy, and Pinkie Pie wanted to make sure that Rainbow Dash kept in touch. So what she did was when Rainbow Dash flew off, she pulled out a microphone out of nowhere and yelled into it, "Don't forget to write!" Which on its own is nothing. Except you look in the background, the boom from her voice through the megaphone moved mountains. Not one mountain, plural. It bent them. The impact from the megaphone amplifying her voice. That's horrifying. And I mean, and technically, like trees and clouds did this too, but just her just her amplified voice through a megaphone, a regular, decent sized megaphone, one you'd have at a ball game or whatever, okay, maybe a little bit bigger, but appropriate size for a pony, moved freaking mountains. How are they not deaf? There were ponies with her. How are they not deaf? Okay, how do they not die? Okay, so I mean, and remember, technically, a megaphone just projects sound. It doesn't technically project a pressure wave. So how did it move the mountains? I don't know. This pony, what is going on? Gah! Calming down now. All right. Already told you about the copies of her arms. Oh yeah, and I need to mention that when she made like the copies of her arms, they weren't attached to her body, which is why I'm saying she can still copy herself, because it's clear that there were other Pinkie Pies somehow in the scene protruding their arms. So I just got to make that clear. The final thing, and this kind of ties into the fourth wall breaking. It's believed or implied that not only can Pinkie Pie break the fourth wall, which she does regularly at times, not only does she know that the audience is there, she appears to be psychic. Now, when I say psychic, I'm actually not referring to her Pinkie sense, which is, if anything, a very random occurrence of random events that she technically does not have future knowledge of. That's something totally different. But she appears to know what's going on in the script, like specifically, like in one of the movies, the Equestrian Girls movies, the I guess I don't know what you call it, girl form, teenager girl form of Pinkie Pie basically recited the entire plot of the film that was to come before it even happened. And then when she was asked, well, how do you know this? She goes, just a hunch. And then when they did like a reverse on it, and in that same movie went to the pure Pinkie Pie that we're getting, she recited basically the plot of the Equestrian Girl movie that she would not have had knowledge about perfectly, and then said, how do you know this? Just a hunch. And it's also noted in other episodes that she knows where other characters are, even though she shouldn't know where those characters are. She looks at the camera and looks at the ponies and goes, well, if I was everyone, I would be at so and so. And then sure enough, that character, despite them not interacting with Pinkie Pie beforehand, was at the location that Pinkie Pie specified. Now, it's not confirmed that she's psychic, but by these laws of, reference, that technically means she could, in potentia, know because remember, they're going to have fourth wall breaking. That's just who they are. But they could, in potential, she could know what is going to happen in the battle before it happens. So in theory, she could, if she is told she's gonna lose, she could actually avoid that outcome in like 1,000 different ways, or even change the script on her own to ensure that her victory defies the script. Because she's done that too. Because the cartoons tried to end, she rips open the closing bubble and like makes other things happen. So she technically defies the script. Yeah. I mean, there's no words here, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, this is insane. I mean, I'm almost at a loss for words, even though I've been talking for 19 minutes, and it's just, this is insane. I mean, this pony it's in the words of Boomsy, this is a pony, a girl's toy, a horse with wings. How is it so awesome? And yeah, I'm not joking here. This is actually pretty awesome. I mean, the stuff that I am learning about Pinkie Pie is just insane. And I'm sure, and again, there's 5 seasons plus the movies of this stuff. I'm sure I've missed some big ones. Yeah, and let's not forget, she can regenerate too. In a key episode, she actually blew herself up. Not got blowed up, blew herself up out of excitement literally shattered herself to pieces and then reassembled herself. Yeah. So, I mean, technically, she pulled a Deadpool. Just like, put this here, just my hair, which means, technically, she can't die. Now, I mean, obviously, I could be wrong on that one. I mean, I'm just going by what I saw in the clip, but I mean, she was all blown to pieces. She was still talking, and then she pulled herself back together, seconds later. How do you kill what you can't kill? And remember that even though technically these ponies have, in theory, the same body structure as regular ponies, they're cartoons. And unlike a comic character, which is technically more based in reality, cartoons like My Little Pony or like Looney Tunes have what we call the stretch rules. A stretch rule is their bodies endure damage to an extent that they cannot be physically killed because of the premise of the cartoon. Like when a Wile E. Coyote gets smashed repeatedly with rocks or anvils, that should kill him, but because he's a stretch cartoon, he just comes out looking like an accordion or like a flat manhole cover with feet and ears. That's the power of stretch cartoon. Deadpool is not a stretch cartoon. He is a comic book character. And so those laws do not apply to him, which is how he has technically died in the comics. So I don't know how Deadpool is going to kill her. And like that's why I, very surprisingly, am going to pick Pinkie Pie. I can't believe it either. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, the only thing I'm uncertain of, technically, is Pinkie Pie's physical strength. I mean, I looked stuff up, and the videos were, they were impressive in their details, but they didn't show like a physical way of strength outside of like the megaphone thing, and that wasn't really her strength. I'm talking like physical strength, like where Rainbow Dash could kick clouds and bring out lightning or whatever. I don't know Pinkie Pie's physical strength. Yes, she was a rock farmer, so that might add to it. I don't know. But if there was an edge I could give Deadpool, I would say it's physical strength plus his destructive arsenal. But as we've seen in previous death battles, mainly like Kirby versus Majin Buu, also pink characters, just because you have more destructive capability does not mean you're going to win the fight. If Pinkie Pie can dodge it, break physics to get around it, regenerate from anything, essentially. Because if she blows herself apart, and puts herself back together, what's Deadpool going to do? I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Pinkie Pie, and that is absolutely insane that I am going with Pinkie Pie. But based on the research I did and have on my phone, just those 9 feats alone says that not only do I think she's gonna be a match for Deadpool, I think she could pass him. If they don't pull a swerve and do like either a double KO or they just decide, we're not going to battle for your guys' enjoyment, which I'm pretty sure they won't do because that would be breaking their own rules of death battle. Someone's got to die. And if someone does die, I honestly think it's going to be Deadpool. So there you go. Oof. Again, I basically spent like 19, 20 minutes talking about a pony. This is my life. And I'm okay with that. So, with that, I will end this very interesting episode of Todd Talk. Be sure to check out my previous videos and stay tuned for my reaction video. I should have it up next Saturday, if not sooner, and depending on what actually happens in the battle. To those who supported me on the home Kickstarter, I thank you. We did get funded on the previous Sunday at the time of this recording. And be sure to check out my other comics at guardians-comic.com, where you can get both my Guardian series and my home series. And stay tuned for more news on those comics coming soon and new comics that we have in the works. So, thank you for watching. If you made it this far, all 24 minutes and 35 seconds of it, I know you were listening, and I will see you around.